Great St. Helens performance. Defences have been on show throughout, and it's not surprising that both Sean Wayne and Lee Radford, the respective coaches, they're fully aware that that defence can make you and get you to the grand final. Semi-finals, as I said last night, they are not a place to play fancy, open, fast rugby league. But tonight may be different because both Hull and Wigan, they've got the talent, they've got the quality to be able to entertain this large crowd. It should be a classic, and I know it will be a classic.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
That's right, yeah, we want a hard, fast and fair game, and both of these teams have got the skills to, I'm sure, entertain us here. The last time Hull played Wigan at the start of September, they faded badly in the last 20 minutes. Have they got the stamina to make it all the way to Manchester?
Well, it's a massive match, an absolutely massive game. Liam Farrell and company. And there's a man who has been in fantastic form for most of the year.
Hang on, mate, hang on.
Mahe Fanua. It's Wigan against Hull then. Hull in all black tonight with a few white stripings. And Wigan in the cherry and white. It's Wigan who'll have first use of the football. That was George Williams. This is big Frank Paul Nuwasala.
Move, Frank!
And the chase from the kick-off, as you would expect from Hull, was vigorous and was solid.
Yeah, it sure is too. Just allowed Wigan to get over the 20-metre line. The second tackle is pretty good defence, and then they know they need it. The black and whites, they're fully aware that over the past few weeks after their victorious win at Wembley, they have not looked like the side that got them to Wembley in the first place. But tonight they know it's the last chance saloon.
It is last throw of the dice. The kick, though, downfield is not the best. And actually, I'm just looking back where the kick came from. It wasn't Willie Isa who got the kick away, but Willie Isa with the right knee, heavily strapped, has just limped his way. There he is there making the tackle. Limped his way into the Wigan defensive line.
Well, you talk about before the game, Eddie, in regards to Wigan having so many of their stars out. And let's face it, you know, the depth that this Wigan club have is a major reason why Sean Wayne still feels confident they can make the grand final.
Yes, Hull will feel confident as well. They've had a couple of major injury blows in this past week, adding to the problems they've had during the course of the season. But the backroom staff at Hull have been given immense credit from the coach, Lee Radford. They've done such a fantastic job in keeping the players fit and healthy this year. They've made it to the semi-finals of the Super League playoffs, and of course they won at Wembley on the back of all of that hard work.
Well, the player just caught the ball there, Lewis Tierney, number 22 on the left wing for Wigan. He's been in great form for recent weeks. Teams want a player to come in with some enthusiasm. He's certainly provided that for the Warriors.
Wigan again trying to work this ball away from their own line. This is Oliver Gildart, but he's surrounded by three Hull defenders.
Well, the line speed from the black and whites and the contact is heavy. They look like they're going to approach this game as their opponents do every single game. Very aggressive, very enthusiastic, and trying to take the sting away from those carries.
Nuwasala will get Wigan over the halfway line with a solid enough run as well.
Yeah, very aggressive there. And this will be a good kick downfield.
All along the ground from Matty Smith. Bobbles and into the arms of Steve Michaels, who is delighted to report this week that new contract talks are underway with the black and whites. That's the reports that we have read in the papers, and well, they've waited a long enough time to begin those negotiations with Steve Michaels. He's had a fine season. Kirk Yeaman, in his last season as a player, will retire either tonight or next week. And now here come the black and whites, moving the ball across the line. Good work by Pritchard, but good defence, and then a knock on by Big Frank.
Well, they wanted to get on with the game very, very quickly, and that's where you come up with the error. I'm not so sure where that is. Where's that a knock on?
It's a messy play, the ball from Frank Pritchard. He doesn't play it with his foot.
Every play the ball is messy.
They are, and if you made each player touch it with the foot, you might clean up a lot of the goings on at the ruck and the play of the ball.
Didn't see there, Stuart, though, where he lost the ball.
No, I think he's just rolled it between his legs, hasn't he? And Robert Hicks has seen that as a knock on.
But that's what they do all the time. I mean, you know,
can't argue with that, Steve.
Oh, I mean, really, that's pedantic, to to say the least.
Well, it's a strange decision in the first 4 minutes of a big semi-final after what we've seen during the course of the last 12 months.
But it's a nudge to the black and whites. Get everything right. Even the little 1%ers in the game could cost you.
Well, we just saw play the ball there when he made no attempt to it.
This is George Williams now.
He's made a rod for his own back, I'm afraid, Robert Hicks.
Sargentson at dummy half finds Matty Smith, and Frank Paul driving the ball in. The other Frank Pritchard round his legs. Swimavavi was there too. Also Washbrook, with Wigan coming forward here. This is Gildart, and he nearly got through. In fact, they're all offside, Hall.
All the line, boys, you've got to make me.
So it's a penalty to Wigan, just 5 metres away from the line. Taking it quickly and moving the ball into centre field with Dom Crosby.
Boy, that was a big hit there by Scott Taylor.
And it's so big it's forced to knock on.
Tremendous defence there.
Time off.
He came in on the angle and then they put a lot of pressure on. Maybe there was a hand in there. Wigan crowd don't like it on the replay.
Well, Washbrook's left hand was certainly on the ball, but I think it was the drag on the shirt collar, which, as you see, is now ripped, that forced the error.
There's definitely a wrestle and a grapple from the black and whites. If the black and whites want to get anything out of this game, it's all about the result. They've got to have an equal share of possession, respect that possession, make the most of the field position, and if they can do that, it could come down to the want factor. Who wants this game more? The Challenge Cup finalists, the winners to lift that trophy, or Wigan, who are at home and finished in second.
Over the top of your
Running
arms
repairs already for Scott Taylor, the former Wigan
Bind together, head in, down.
Forward.
Stand up. Listen, boys, you've got to get bound and go in. You're not bound with them.
Referee's unhappy with the way the scrum is
forming. Put your arms over
forming.
and bind. That's what you do as a hooker. Thank you. Heads in, bowling. Out, back on.
He's happy enough now, but there didn't seem much difference, actually, from the way the scrum was formed in the first place.
Go.
Well, I think the hookers were actually had their arms around the props for a change.
Move, Anthony.
He's lost that ball as Liam Watts. He has lost the ball.
Well, Gelling looks at the official and said, well, why can't I play on? But I think you'll find it now. Has that been whipped away by Gelling?
So that's 1-all, that's 1-all.
Well, it hasn't been the best start for the official Robert Hicks, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't see that as a ball steal. His hand's on the ball. He doesn't steal the ball.
Well, what
He comes out as he hits the ground.
What does he do with it then?
He just has his hand on the ball. That isn't a ball steal.
Heads in, Reece, Jamie. Ball in.
Scrum feed to the Wigan Warriors. Matty Smith does exactly that, feed to the scrum. Here is Sam Powell, gives it to Liam Farrell. Wigan beginning this set of 6 then in dangerous territory for the black and whites. Nuasala goes down in the challenge from Watts and Washbrook. They're seeing a lot of work defensively early on. Powell again off the ground, goes right. This is Matty Smith. Smith then to Sargentson. Big hit that by Talanoa. Sargentson felt that.
Was it ever? Came in on the angle. It's always a big gamble when you do that. Gelling looking to try to offload.
Thought better of it, plays the ball to Powell in centre field. It comes to Smith. Smith then to Williams. Williams just puts the boot to ball, and Twimavami to the rescue. Goal line dropout forced by Wigan.
Tremendous play by George Williams. You talk about him being just a young player, but each and every game this guy is learning the trade. Beautiful little anticipation. Good job that this fella realised that the kick was on.
So what he did very well, Carlos Twimavami, was turn and run backwards so quickly. That isn't an easy thing to do, but his ability to look, he's facing one way, twist, turn, press forward, it bounced up and he cleared it. Very important save here. Territorially, Wigan started again as typical in the first 10 minutes. Spent a lot of the time attacking close to opponent's try line. They forced some mistakes to nearly get the first chance for the goal line dropout.
And here comes big Frank Paul again. He's just picking up pace. He gets a great offload away. Also to Sargentson. Sargentson then finds John Bateman. And Houghton, inevitably, Super League's top tackler again this year. He deals with the threat. Sargentson finds Gelling on that right-hand side. Into dummy half once again comes Sam Powell. Powell off the ground, into the arms of Matty Smith. Crosby will take it forward for the Wigan Warriors. Powell again, the 10 metres away Wigan. after that goal line dropout. Matty Smith, Williams, finds Sargentson, put out pass to Tierney. Tierney gets over the line, does he? I think the referee will give this, he does.
Beautiful Tierney. Beautiful quick hands, Eddie. Tremendous stuff on the three-quarter line. The utilisation of one dummy runner and then right out to Tierney. He's having a tremendous season, this winger.
Indeed he is, and this is his playoff debut as well. 8 tries for the season now for him.
Well, the pressure was always applied by George Williams, a little bit kicked through. Trimavave came to the rescue, but it put them in a really good position. Williams, look how they utilised the dummy runner, and then he squeezed over. That took some scoring.
You know, one player's injury is another player's opportunity. If Sam Tompkins had been fit tonight, I doubt that Lewis Tierney would have been on this field. But boy, what an impressive finish that is from the Wigan left winger. Given very little time and space, he's cut back inside and made sure he got the ball down on the line. Continues what great form he's been in.
Well, almost constant Wigan pressure from the first whistle of Robert Hicks has resulted in the first try of the match. And the whole players behind their own line know that they have to really stop the flow as far as Wigan are concerned. Matty Smith here with the opportunity to add the extras. 24 points last week in the 48-24 win against the Catalan Dragons. Tough kick this though. Ooh. Well, that's not one of the best I've ever seen Matty Smith put in, and he knows it too.
It's tremendous build-up play from George Williams, who's really come on this year. That's a top-class kick into the in-goal area, making it too difficult for Lefsey to handle and deal with it. Here's the attempted conversion.
I played
He'll have to be a little bit better than that. But Lewis Tierney, with his finishing, he certainly was.
Well, he topped that a bit, did Matty Smith. But Wigan have the lead. This fellow's been impressive in the opening 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's obviously on a mission. I'm sure that Sean Wayne has said, look, I want a good 20 minutes from you. And he's got that, but he's come up with the error.
Knock on by Frank Paul Nuwasala.
He's a big body, isn't he, Frank Paul? You really have to front up, get your shoulder in, deal with the leg drive after contact. And Frank Paul Nuwasala is desperate to play that ball. He's doing it almost before he stood up, and that's the reason he was penalised.
Bind him, please.
Well, he played in 2 grand finals in the NRL with the Sydney Roosters. He lost in 2010. He won in 2013. He'd love to get to Old Trafford in 2016.
Ball, mate, ball.
At the moment they lead by 4-0, but Hull, with the feet at that scrum, are on the attack here with Minicello.
The biggest problem for the last 4 weeks for the Black and Whites has been the ability to actually break down a strong defence. It's not going to be easy against this Wigan outfit, but if they spin it out wide, this fella linking through from full-back position has got to be a real danger to Wigan tonight.
Washbrook has hold of it, gives the ball then to his scrum half, Mark Sneed. Sneed goes down on his knees as the tackle is effected. Trying to get up and play the ball. Sam Powell in the way. This is Watts. Now it's Trimavave. Shaw tries to get away from Gildart. Solid defence from the Wigan centre and his second row partner Liam Farrell.
Well, they won't get through that defence, Eddie, if they stand so shallow. And was that a knock on? No, he says.
Well, they're appealing Hull. They are appealing Mark Sneed is.
Well, it looked that Sam Powell perhaps just juggled the ball.
Off the knees, off the ankles rather, from Powell. Pretty well.
Seemed okay.
Try scorer Tierney, he plays the ball. Here now is Liam Farrell.
Well, we saw there the attempted build-up in attack from the Hull FC side. Lee Radford has got to get the message out. If you're going to break down the solid defence, you've got to be running onto the ball. 2 passes, both players were stood still. You're not going to break Wigan down by doing that.
Oh, and that was on the last tackle. Liam Watts was coming in very late anyway. He was told by the referee to move out of the way, and he failed to do so.
And another good decision from George Williams. He decided not to pass that ball.
Oh, well,
The player was up in close support, and a whole defender shot out of the line. He decided to keep hold of it, rushed to play the ball, and now he's earned his side 25-30 metres.
So here they come again, Wigan, on the back of that penalty. And Paul Nuasala
Move, Liam! Come on, mate!
takes the tackle.
Hold, Danny, hold!
Will stand and play the ball to Sam Powell. Now it's with Matty Smith. Smith then to Sargentson. Will drop off pass and he finds Bateman. Houghton again. Inevitably, Danny Houghton.
That was a good angle run there from Bateman.
Would you believe Danny Houghton has been the top tackler in Super League each of the last 6 seasons? It is unbelievable.
Hold up.
Sargentson down the short side. Gets the ball away to Gildart.
Move now.
And Gildart is forced back this side of the whitewash. Tierney gives it then to Sargentson. He finds Williams. Williams dabs the ball through. Chases on. Crosby's after this. Shaw gets it. And Shaw, well, he did his best. He did his best, but that's great defence from Wigan.
Tremendous play. This is all about controlling the game, and you've got to say that Wigan are doing exactly that. And again, that little kick through by George Williams. They must have been practicing that all this week. Sean Wayne making sure that Williams takes full control. It's normally on the shoulders of Matty Smith. As I keep mentioning, this year, each game is growing bigger, better.
Well, no matter what happens to Hull tonight, this has been their best Super League campaign ever. Reflected when the Dream Team was unveiled on Monday. 6 Hull players in that mythical lineup. Okay, the treble Dream went up in smoke last Friday, beaten by Warrington, and their form has fallen away since Wembley. Just 1 win in 4. But here they are in the semi-final, and they are 80 minutes at the start of play tonight, away from the grand final, their first in 10 years.
3, move, Frank.
Crosby goes down. Gareth Ellis, the skipper, hoping he will be leading the men out at Old Trafford next week, but that's anything but certain. Good hands from Wigan. Liam Farrell gets the ball out to Tierney, and Tierney gets over in the corner for his second try of the opening 15 minutes. Lewis Tierney, 2 tries from him, 2 tries for Wigan. They lead 8 points to 0. And the signs for the black and white supporters are just a little ominous at the moment.
Wigan are playing an absolute belter of a game. Taking control, field position. The 2 kick from George Williams has finally created. This was a good chase. Jamie Shaw, no way out. They get possession yet again. The whole fans behind the sticks here, they thought perhaps it might have been a forward pass. Not those final 2, they are okay. It's this one here that they thought it was. But again, he's found it into the...
Well, for the black and white sticks, it's the second occasion that right edge has been found wanting. 2 players didn't know whether to come forward. And Sir Bradley Wiggins, he's certainly enjoying what he's watching tonight. I'm not sure the black and white fans will feel the same. When you're on your goal line, when you're on that edge deep, it's important to get up, and the black and whites failed to do so. Another try to Wigan.
Another try to Wigan, another attempt for Matty Smith. What's this kick like? It's from almost exactly the same situation. That's better contact, but this time he sliced it to the right of the posts. So 2 tries, no conversions, 8-0 Wigan.
Well, it's been a masterclass for 15 minutes in territorially controlling the game and then converting your chances. And Liam Farrell shows he's not just a fit and athletic player, but a skillful one as well. Doubling up as a makeshift centre, providing a pass on the plate there for his winger.
Yes, only
the problem is, they just can't get to the other end of the field with the ball.
No, they can't. And Liam Farrell, it's only his 15th appearance of the campaign. He has played in 4 grand finals, though. He's desperate to make it a personal 5th.
Surrender!
Well, Sean Wayne, the Wigan coach, will be happy with the way they're controlling things. And the effort from their prop forward, Nuasala, has really dented this whole defence. As I say, it's all about control, get the kicking game right, turn the opposition around. It's near perfect from the Warriors.
What Nuasala does is an intimidating man to look at as he turns round and offloads the ball. He's intimidating when he carries the ball. He's intimidating when he defends. You've seen on a couple of occasions he's got some some aspects of his game that the Wigan Warriors certainly haven't learned to make the most of him.
Let's all get bound.
As he spends more time at the club, around more players, they'll learn to read him, and Sam Powell, I'm sure, he'll agree. I should have caught that, I should have done better.
Well, Baz, I'm sure that Sean Wayne will get the message out. Hang on has been like a wrecking ball up until that point. All of a sudden, he wants to turn around and be a smart player. We're utilising, you'll see, I want you out there for 20, 30 minutes and just create havoc, never mind offloading.
Frank Pritchard then.
Hold now, hold,
12 metres inside the Wigan half of the field. Plays the ball to Houghton. This is Twimavavi. Now it's Sneed. And Dominicello with the drop ball. He cannot hang on to it at the moment.
It was a forward pass as well, Eddie. There was no chance he was going to get it. Look at that. Dominicello knew he had no chance of getting it. Well, unless they get themselves shaped out, we're going to be online to score yet another try within the next play of the ball.
Sargentson looking to get to Old Trafford for the final hurrah. That was an awful play, the ball. Well, if the first one that he penalised was a knock-on, what on earth was that?
I'm with you, Eddie.
Solid from Fanua.
Got it away, though.
This is Gildart. And in to touch she goes. Listen, I think as far as the play the balls are concerned, let's ignore them, shall we? Because there's no point making comment anymore. No point.
Yeah, well, when you say there's no point, then why did the official, with only 2 minutes into the game, give a penalty for one and then completely ignore it from there on in?
OK, we'll completely ignore it from here on in. You're hearing from the man, and of course it is Steve-O's grand finale next week. And we have a special programme celebrating his 26 years behind the microphone. It's next Friday at 6:40 on Sky Sports 3. Well worth a watch, and it's ahead of the Super League Grand Final next Saturday night at 5 on Sky Sports 1. Your grand finale, Steve-O. It has been grand.
It is, and now it's going to be final.
Oh, and Sargentson in a little bit of pain.
You're going to have to change his shirt anyway. So,
this is the reason why.
Yeah. Mahe Fanua doesn't take no prisoners. Another one when he's running the ball.
And that'll take some stopping.
I saw Steve Blakely trying to stop the bleeding, and now going to change the shirt. I thought for a second he was going to try to get that towel, all of it, up his nose.
Come on, boys, then.
No chance.
There, boys. Yeah, I know, but I have asked.
Well, the play is stopped while Sargentson receives this treatment.
Shirt's changed.
Stuart, should the game be stopped in a situation like this, seriously?
Well, there's no reason really why the game can't carry on while he gets treated. You know, it just causes a bit of delay while he does receive treatment. I know it's a blood replacement, but or a blood treatment. We want to make sure everything's safe, but that could be treated as the game goes on.
Well, he packed down at loose forward in the scrum, maybe that's why.
Hold now, hold.
But of course he doesn't have to pack down there, does he? I mean, he's supposed to be playing full back.
Oh, it doesn't matter these days, Eddie.
No, I know. Numbers on the back mean nothing.
I'll tell you what does matter is that Hull can make some ground when they carry the ball, and they've had one of the biggest carriers, Liam Watts, pushed backwards by 2 or 3 defenders. If they can't win that battle, they've got no chance. They're losing ground again here on that second play.
Oh, they're stunned, Phil. It's as simple as that. And they're fortunate that they're only 8 points behind, because Wigan have been so superior. Look at that defence.
More great defence. They look gassed as well as stunned. The amount of energy that they've put into those 18 and a bit minutes certainly taking its toll.
Got to be careful, Wigan, that they'll give a knock on.
Well, actually, wasn't that nudged out by the foot of a Wigan player?
Well, I would say that Green's actually put the ball beyond his foot to get that result, and that's probably why Robert Hicks has given a knock on. So he puts his in front of his leg as he's coming backwards.
But surely Tautai has to be penalised for this.
Well, he doesn't, because the head and feed has gone to Wigan at the scrum.
Heads in, please. The decision's gone now. We can't check them, mate. We don't check them.
Danny Houghton is getting a little bit frustrated by it all.
It's every right to be.
Hang on, George.
Well, that's where the referee says we don't check those, but at times we do choose to check certain things, and I think that's where the game has to choose. Go with the referee on every decision then from now on, I think.
Move, Mark! Hold! Go!
Well, I'm sure you'll have some support not too far away from here in St Helens, with views like that.
Stand, go.
Maybe that's the way sports supposed to be. Let's go with the live ref call, but Hull need to go with some live ammunition here in defence because they're struggling and they're getting shot backwards.
Here we go, hold.
This is Bateman, 20 metres away. Matty Smith, short ball to Isa. Thunderous challenge from Pritchard though, making sure he wasn't going any further. Powell, 12 metres out. Here is Smith. Tautai, first try of the season at the KCOM Stadium for Tolima Tautai a few weeks ago.
And this will be another kick. Probably into the in-goal area. It's proved to be a boost. There's another one, and there's nearly a try.
Yes, Crosby was hunting it, and Jamie Shaw got back there and shuttled the ball over the dead ball line. Goal line dropout coming up.
This is a masterclass by Wigan.
Third goal line dropout that Wigan have forced in the opening 20 minutes of the match.
It's all about controlling the game of rugby league, and that is exactly what they're doing. Boy, Sean Wayne must have a huge smile all over his face.
Well, at the end of a game of rugby league, both teams tend to get about 50% of the possession, but at the moment, Wigan have had twice as much as the Hull side. If Hull can hang on in this period, they will get some chance to have hold of the ball. You can see there the stats of possession heavily in favour of Wigan. And Wigan need to convert them into points to make sure they concert the dominance here now and show it on the scoreboard.
Well, Hull have hardly had a sniff at the other end of the field. They've been defending their line manfully. They've only conceded 2 tries out wide. The signs at the moment are not good for the Challenge Cup winners.
And Wigan don't have to play to try to score on every occasion. Just keep kicking it. Just keep putting it through.
Jamie Shaw, goal line.
This is Willie Isa, who will pick himself up off the floor and play it to Anthony Gelling. He then finds Smith, and Smith with the little kick through. It came off the ankles of Danny Houghton, and this time Hull have got the ball back. Now, can they hang on to it? And more importantly, can they make some progress up the other end?
Well, the Hull fans and the Hull players thought that Wigan were well and truly offside. They played the ball very quickly. I'm afraid that at least 5 or 6 Wigan players were completely offside, and you could see 3 or 4. Don't tell me, he's actually given one.
Well, that was a big carry from Mark Minicello. After all that defending, Mark Minicello, who earned a place in that dream team this week, he starts the momentum.
Stand up,
and there's a messy play of the ball. It's gone in the way of the black and whites, and they'll take that possession. They need to spend some time on the ball. They seem to have spent the opening quarter of the game defending.
First penalty of the match to Hull FC. Wigan have had 2. 22 minutes gone.
They've got to make this count. They've got to just, don't panic, just say, look, we haven't had a look at this territory very much in this game. We've got to stay down there. They've got to take a leaf out of the book of what Wigan have been doing. Remember, those kicks from George Williams has been outstanding.
Sneed drops the pass off. Kirky Eamon ankle tapped, down he goes. Plays the ball to Houghton. Mark Minicello, inspirational on and off the field this year for the Black and Whites. Minicello.
Get square. Hold, John, hold. Go.
This now is Twimavavi. Oh, and he almost poked his nose through. In fact, he did, and it needed a decent tackle from Farrell and Isa to bring him down. Houghton, Taylor, trying to change the direction of the attack, but good defence from Tautai.
This has got to be a kick now. Get it in the in-goal area.
Sneed's the man. He's gone aerial. Whoops.
Oh, it's play on.
Collision in the air.
It'll be first knock on from Wigan. It'll be head and ball there for the Black and Whites, and it is.
It looked the wrong option, didn't it? When Sneed puts it high, 2 Wigan players collide. Sargentson and Tierney. You'd assume that there's a lack of communication. Both thinks it's their ball. The mistake.
When you're in defence, I need to stand back for the first marker.
The mistake happens, and Mahe Fanua, if he could have picked that ball up, could have posted the first try. He's being bumped and knocked all over the place, isn't he?
Try my best.
Well, you could see quite clearly that there was no conversation between the 2 players. They both probably shouted at the same time, it's mine.
And he can play fullback, Steve-O, but an experienced fullback would let everybody in the ground know that that was his ball.
Maybe the lack of communication. There's a hero at the moment. 2 tries from Tierney.
Hands over.
Given the Black and Whites the real first opportunity to apply the pressure.
Yes,
what can they come up with?
They get the head and feed at the scrum 10 metres away. Sneed then gives it to Taylor. Scott Taylor, who was at Wigan.
Name T, hold, go.
This is Sneed now. Gives it to Twimavavi. Back it comes to Jamie Shaw. He's a dangerous Jamie Shaw whenever he's had the ball in his hand.
Good tackle by Williams, had to be as well.
Twimavavi now. Well, he's fighting a lone battle against the Wigan defenders there.
They've got to utilise more dummy runners, the black and whites. Got to confuse this defence, that's better.
Now then, they do have a man out wide, and Sneed has found him with a kick. It's Talanoa. Talanoa just caught that and stood still and invited the tackle. Sneed, another kick, this time all along the ground. Very well watched by Williams and very well dealt with by Williams.
Well, the idea was good, but Williams read it perfectly. Now they've got to make sure that the Wigan outfit do not get out of their danger red zone.
Crosby trying to get them away from that end of the field, but Pritchard was in very quickly and was helped out by Washbrook. Tautai. Well, this is a big match, of course, the semi-final with Old Trafford as the carrot. What about this? The £1 million game tomorrow. Sky Sports 2 at 2:55. Hull KR will take on Salford. One of them we will bid farewell to for Super League next year. The other will survive. Winners are grinners tomorrow, that's for sure.
Surrender!
Well, I'm not so sure that was a good combination there. Jamie Shaw took the ball and then sort of had to wait until his winger came into it.
That's a great run from Steve Michaels.
Move, get square, name me, Will.
It's taken them 25 minutes and to start to break 1 or 2 tackles now for Wigan. Twimavavi runs on his own here.
All the way on the 10.
They need more to take a lead from that example.
Mahe Fanua comes down the short side on his own.
They're aware of his talent, though. He's had a good season.
Michaels to Twimavavi. There's Pritchard, now it's with Sneed. They go further wide down that left side with Minicello. Minicello then finds the runner who is Yeeman. And Kirk Yeeman, he hangs on and the tackle is not completed, so he finds Mark Sneed. Tautai gets to him and just envelops him with help from Josh Charnley. Sneed will play it here to Houghton. Lost a bit of territory though, they're back on the 20. Twimavavi with a kick, well, he aimed that to the corner and all he found was Lewis Tierney.
Yeah, not the best.
Oh, and Tierney wants to get on with this, and can. And Tierney is quick.
Oh, those are vital meters forward. Quick play the ball, and the black and whites are in all sorts. Look at that. Second play the ball, they're in the whole territory already.
With Liam Farrell.
James, get with me.
Who plays it now to Dan Sargentson. He then finds Ryan Sutton, who's off the bench. Now Charnley.
3 move, Danny. Come on out here, Kurt.
Sam Powell waits at dummy half, pushing a shot on the back of Charnley's head by Danny Washbrook. Ryan Sutton takes it into the chest of Minicello. That's 4 gone. Sutton to his feet, plays it. Sam Powell again. Now Bateman tries to get away from Sneed. Can't get away from Washbrook.
Good, Dan. Go.
And Powell to Smith. Smith hoists it high. Everybody waited, the ball came back, and Williams got it eventually, but Fanua saw to it he was going nowhere else.
Again, very patient, this Wigan outfit. Not really under pressure when the kick came. Okay, wasn't the best in the end, but they know that they've got the black and whites well and truly deep down in their own territory.
47th playoff game for Wigan. They've won their last 4 here at home. The last defeat at this level outside of Old Trafford came here in 2012. They were beaten by just a 1 point, 12-13 to the Leeds Rhinos it was on that occasion. So they know the territory to Wigan. Leeds did until this year. Here's a penalty now for the black and whites. This will help.
Boy, they needed that as well. They're getting very short in their defensive line, very confused. The way that Wigan are getting on and playing the ball quickly, creating all sorts of problems for them. And this is now where the black and whites, they really have to just calm things down.
Cleaning that up.
No rush.
Sneed dumps the ball into touch.
Good there, boys, good.
33 metres or so away from the Wigan line. Here's Twimavavi. Now it's Jordan Thompson.
Move, Ryan.
Only 8 points in it, 28 minutes gone.
Go.
Houghton, Twimavavi, back it goes to Sneed. Sneed then gets it away to Shaw. Good work by Gelling defensively.
He knew exactly what was happening there, Gelling.
Yeaman. Another great piece of work defensively from Anthony Gelling. Houghton. Chris Green now. Chris Green going nowhere other than to the ground. Danny Houghton finds Tuimavavi. Short ball from him to Washbrook, who had to reach forward for that.
Dink into the in-goal area. It has to be good.
Last tackle it is, coming up for Hull. And Sneed again goes high, finds Yeaman, and he lost it out the back door.
Well, it's one thing kicking towards a corner, which they've done on the last 2 occasions. You may come up with a try, but really you needed somebody to put it into the in-goal area to put panic
to
in the
build
minds
pressure,
of the Wigan
Steve. That's
players.
what the Black and Whites have failed to do in 30 minutes virtually. They haven't built pressure. They haven't been able to make Wigan work hard for anything.
Dan, it's the second time you've played.
Looks like Sargentson needs to have attention.
You've got to go off because
blood all over the place.
Mate, you can't sort it here. You've tried to
Very
sort
difficult.
it. You can't. He's got to go off now.
Maybe 2 blocks.
No, mate,
That's what they normally do. Just channel them either nostril.
You're going to have to take him off at the back.
Well, the referee's asked him 3-4 times now to take Dan Sargentson off the field. And now he is going off the field, but no, he's not off the field actually.
And Jake Shorrocks is on.
Been sorted out at the back of the
Hold
play.
it, me, Kurt!
Well, he should be off the field. It's the second time he's had treatment on the blood injury, so he should have gone off.
Well, he's staying on, and he's being treated on the field.
Move!
Jake Shorrocks has come on at 9 for St Paul. Let's just clear that up. Had a great game the last time we saw him in the middle.
I'm glad you cleared that up about it, because I wouldn't like Wigan to be penalised for having 14 men on the field. The last thing that they would need. Bateman gets them to halfway on the last. Oh, and that is a coach killer.
And that's the second time they've done that on the last. You can see Sneed to do all the hard work, and then they just won't release him.
But it's John Bateman's refusal to be tackled, refusal to be put onto his back. I think that's Lee Radford, is it?
It is. He's making a note for the half-time discussion, which is 10 minutes away.
I reckon he'll have a few notes, Eddie.
Williams gets the ball away. Here is that man.
Hit the goal line. Hold. Go.
Joe Bretherton it was. Williams, short ball to Farrell forward.
Yeah, he picked it up. Williams a little bit furious with himself because he was anticipating that very short pass, but you see that Farrell had overrun him. Boy, that's a huge let-up. Because Sean Wayne would have got the message, okay, we've denied the LFC any chance of scoring a try.
Phil Clark is the man on Twitter at half-time, at Sky Sports RL, hashtag Ask Sky, and Barry McDermott will be with you at full time. So
That's it. Heads in.
Sam Tompkins is getting his tweets ready for you, gentlemen, by the looks of things. Have you ever had, any of you, a tweet from a player during the course of these sessions?
I'm not on Twitter.
No, I mean when you're on with us. No, I'm not on Twitter either. I mean when you're on with us. No, nothing.
No. Well, I may have, but
you ignore them.
Yeah, I do actually.
I get them about you, Steve, if that makes you feel better.
Not really.
Everybody gets comments about Steve-O, don't they, old boy?
Sadly, yep. But
not for much longer.
No.
And they will be saying then, it's not the same. Where is he? Where's he gone?
I'll tell you what's not the same, the kicking game from both teams. Hull FC's kicking game is a little bit blunt. Whenever Wigan are kicking, they're restricting the metres that Talanoa, Michaels, Fanua, Jamie Shaw are making. That means that there's such a dominant display. 8 points to the good and very dominant in this match.
Joe Bretherton has the ball in hand for Wigan. 4 tackles gone, midway inside the whole half of the field. Matty Smith, short pass then from him to Bateman.
This is where they might put the link, or is it going to be a kick on that short blind side?
No, they're having a run down the short blind. There's the kick from Gelling, and Charney wasn't far away from it. He wasn't far away from a nasty injury either.
Not a bad option on that sideline. Gelling far too strong in the end.
He's the maverick player, and I think he takes that license upon himself. If he thinks there's a chance, he'll try something, hope his teammate can get on the end of it. Now, for all the dominance that Wigan have had in this game, they still only lead by 8 points. Probably be more like 18-0 if you took the possession and the chances that the two teams have had.
Yeah, you're right, Phil, because Lee Ratford, Hull coach, will be saying, look, if we can sneak a try just before half-time, they know they've been outplayed. It's as simple as that. But, you know, the scoreline, as I say, is only 8-0. Can change. That's a good run. That should be a penalty.
Well, he was standing square, Ryan Sutton, so the referee saw nothing wrong with it. They haven't really had a sniff of that Wigan try line, have they? Not yet.
Well, they haven't applied the pressure either. This will be a high bomb, surely.
It's with Sneed. And again, it's into the corner. There's nobody there.
Yeah, just a bit too strong. It's completely off form, I'm afraid.
Well, since they won at Wembley, Hull have gone off the boil in Super League. There's no denying that, and Lee Radford doesn't deny it either.
Well, the thing that's missing, we keep saying it, but, you know, throughout this season, just before they went to Wembley, the forwards were on fire. They were just taking the opposition apart. We haven't seen that from Taylor and Watts.
Move, Danny! Hold!
This is Tautai to his feet and plays the ball. Shorrocks gets it away then to Liam Farrell. Dan Sargentson with the bandaged nose finds George Williams. Williams goes down, tackle number 4. 8 tries from George Williams, by the way, in his last 10 games. Talk about him as a schemer and as a maker of tries.
Well, I reckon this will be a high one.
Bretherton to his feet. Shorrocks and Williams running it. Back on the inside to Farrell. He has support, couldn't get it away. Now he does, and they keep the ball alive somehow, Wigan. It's with Tautai. They go right now with Smith. Smith with a kick to the corner. Great kick it is too.
Oh, he did well there, didn't he? Newman didn't touch it. He allowed it to go over the whitewash.
Does really well, doesn't he, Steve?
Brilliant.
He makes himself a shield between Josh Charnley and the ball. Just drifts off the field.
Don't keep crawling around.
It's the kicking game. It's the ability of Wigan to apply the pressure. That's the difference for me between the two teams.
3 weeks ago, Wigan beat Hull at the Caicon Stadium 18-12. 14 unanswered points in the last quarter of the match. Hull were exhausted and frustrated at the end. They don't want to be exhausted or frustrated here tonight. They want to get to Old Trafford, but at the moment Wigan are halfway there to face a replay of the 2013 Grand Final against the Warrington Wolves.
Well, the Wigan defence have not allowed Hull, should I say, to get into any sort of rhythm. And when they've got anywhere near, they'll come up with either the poor kick or the mistake.
Bowden is out there now.
Come on, George.
Ploughing a furrow up the middle of the field. Will play the ball to Houghton, who then gives it to Twimavavi. He finds Washbrook. Good work from Gildart. Helped out by Tierney. And last man in was Tautai. 5th tackle, last one coming up then. Thompson. Sneed. They're running it this time with Shaw. They go wide to Yeaman. Gelling gets there again. Big defensive plays from Anthony Gelling.
Well, that's the 3rd or 4th occasion that Hull FC have ended up on a sideline on the last tackle. And from that point, they look like they're making it up, trying to manufacture a kick from somewhere. It's a little bit scrappy on last plays. Sure, Lee Radford will talk about that. Somebody's got to fill the hole that Gareth Ellis leaves. Emotionally and with his actions as well. He leads from the front, doesn't leave and wait for somebody else to do it.
The problem is, as I mentioned before the kick-off, that Danny Houghton, we know his defensive qualities, but I expected more running from dummy half to create a few problems, bringing that defence from Wigan. We have not seen that yet.
Ryan Sutton trying to weave his way up the middle. They've now reached tackle number 5. Last one coming here then. Jake Shorrocks at dummy half. Gives it to Smith. Whoop, high off the boot from Smith. Long. Shawls underneath it. Sargentson, though, never gave up the chase.
Wonderful timing as well by Sargentson. They wanted to get on with to play the ball quickly. The whole players and the whole fans saw that when they play the ball, they were offside.
That might be one of the big hits that Barry and Terry picked this week on the website for their very popular feature. This is Tuimavavi. He just cannot get any flow going Hull at the moment whatsoever, and you have to credit the Wigan defence for that.
But when you make sure that your opposition is virtually going one out on at least 3 or 4 of the designated 6 tackles, you know you're in full control, and that's just a waste.
Because it's been picked up by Bretherton.
He's lost his golden boots, hasn't he? I don't know what's happened in the last few weeks, whether it's the fatigue tonight here. But all the accuracy seems to have disappeared, the threat, the danger from any of his kicks. However he tries to kick it, wherever he tries to place it, it's not landing in the right place.
It's a different kick and it's a different prospect when you're on the front foot. The big dogs in the middle, they're laying the platform. I don't think they've been able to do that tonight or for the last month.
No, they were so good at Wembley and leading up to the final. And since they won the Challenge Cup and all the emotion and the history that went with that, they haven't been able to recreate that sort of form. Bateman has, though. He gets it away to Smith. This now is Williams. He's surrounded and harassed by Bowden.
Oh, they're confident, Wigan, and they know it. They're now turning the tackle. They know they got good support. This will be a kick to the in-goal area, or will they go aerial to the corner?
Shorrocks looks right, gives it to Matty Smith. He was going for the drop goal, he did. But that was charged down by Houghton, so it's 6 to go. And Bateman slides his way over.
Time off.
Now then, the grounding's okay.
Can you just check the onside, please?
Well, this is all the fun of the fair, because
he's checking onside.
Bateman went into a slide. I don't know how much you paid for getting on the slide, but he was wonderful the way he slides over.
Checking the offside from the drop goal. Is there a player in front? There's nobody there. They're all onside behind there, so there's no problem. It'll be play on from that. The kickers would be the man who picked the ball up was behind Smith when he kicked it. He's there on the right-hand side. John Bateman comes off Danny Houghton. So anybody else on that right-hand side is entitled to pick the ball up and play on from there. So that's okay, providing he keeps hold of the ball when he slides underneath. Shouldn't be a problem with the grounding. So they're all onside there. We can play on from that. Bateman picks the ball up, heads towards the try line, dives short. He can slide over as long as he keeps possession all the way. Momentum takes him over, and there we have it. Try and confirm.
Yes, no suggestion at all of a double movement. It was purely and simply momentum that took John Bateman home. The try is given right on the stroke of half-time to John Bateman. 10th consecutive appearance in the second row. Try last week. Tries against Hull, home and away this year, and home here tonight in this semi-final. And Matty Smith from bang in front will not miss this, and he doesn't, and that gives it a far more respectable look as far as Wigan are concerned.
Well, they were fortunate to get the ricochet. Danny Houghton charges it down, but you can see there that the black and whites, they stood around and they allowed him. But what great movement from John Bateman. Watch this. He knows it's about 2 meters away. He goes low, he slides, all the fun of the fair, and got him the point.
So 3 tries to Wigan in that first half, 1 conversion from Matty Smith. The first from Lewis Tierney on the 7th minute. He followed that up 7 minutes later with his second. Bateman then, as you've just seen, in the final minute of the half, and Matty Smith added the extras this time from bang in front. 14 points to 0. Hull really outplayed in the first half. Look fatigued. Wigan don't. At the moment, they're on their way to Old Trafford.
Ladbrokes, proud sponsor of Rugby League on Sky Sports. The all-new Kia Optima Sportswagen. Do it better. Do it with flair.
Roll up, roll up. The BT Fabulous Fortnight is now on. And ladies and gentlemen, we're offering you unlimited fibre optic BT Infinity and unlimited UK weekend calls for an incredible 50% off. That's an unmissable £10 a month. What's more, it's just a 12-month contract. And if you order online by the 10th of October, a £100 BT reward card can be all yours. But hurry, as our Fabulous Fortnight ends 10th of October. Join us today. Call 0800 005 800 or visit bt.com/sale.
Today at Deezer, it's mating season. Will the female be wooed by Clive or by her favourite tunes on Deezer Flow? Let's see. Clive, Deezer, Clive, Deezer, Clive, Deezer, Clive, Deezer, Deezer. She's torn into the arms of Deezer. Sorry, Clive. Download Deezer for free.
Your face goes through a lot. Whatever life throws at you. Nivea Men Cream will help keep your skin looking its best. Fast absorbing, non-greasy. Men, this is your cream. Nivea Men, it starts with you.
I can travel 1,000,000 miles in a single afternoon. I see every card and every goal. Very second it happens, I miss nothing. I am a member of the world's favourite online sports betting company, and I gamble responsibly at Bet365.
Right now, there's up to 55% off windows, doors and conservatory upgrades at SafeStyle.
50% off stronger doors that help you sleep better. 55% off energy-saving windows that help reduce your heating bills. And 50% off an upgraded conservatory that you'll use more. We'll be any like-for-like quote, and there's 2 years interest-free.
So if you're thinking of changing your doors, windows or upgrading your conservatory, call SafeStyle today and get up to an incredible 55% off. Thanks, SafeStyle.
A great weekend of football continues tomorrow and Sunday on Sky Sports.
Did you know Super 6 is completely free to play? You must be 18 to play. Entries must be in by 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Terms and conditions apply. Good luck.
I think there may be something wrong with this world. Something hiding underneath.
Ladbrokes, proud sponsor of Rugby League on Sky Sports.
Well, players of Hull Kingston Rovers and Salford battle for Super League survival, the £1 million game. The winners will have a place in Super League in 2017. For the losers, it is relegation to the Championship. All the action from 2:55 p.m. on Sky Sports 2. And then the big one, Saturday, October 8th. We know the Warrington Wolves are the first of the finalists, as the Wigan Warriors and Hull FC currently doing battle to fill that second place. 5 p.m. on Sky Sports 1 for that. And will it be the Wigan Warriors? They are well positioned at half-time here at the DW Stadium, leading 14 points to 0. 3 tries, only one of those, interestingly, converted by Matty Smith. Might that come into play? Well, if it's going to come into play, Hull FC will need to perform. They haven't thus far. Sean Wayne, with his depleted squad, he's promised they would give a dig. If nothing else, they would have a go. Well, they've done a little bit more than that. They have bossed certainly that opening 20 minutes and last 10 minutes of the first half, and just a very small period in that opening 40 minutes for Lee Radford and Hull FC to exert any sort of pressure on the Wigan Warriors, and they really failed to do that. He said they played their best rugby league in knockout games this year. This is a knockout game, and they are far away from their best. Well, Hull FC in rapid reverse following their Challenge Cup win at Wembley. We've talked about their form coming into this game. They have certainly continued in the vein of form they've shown in the last 4 weeks. The Wigan Warriors on the other side, they have performed like they performed in the last couple of weeks and dominated, John, certainly that opening 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Wigan, because it's Wigan's half without a shadow of a doubt. The intensity they brought to the start of this game mirrored what they've done over the last 3 weeks in getting into this point. Intense, focused, and from a very early stage, forcing Hull FC into some big defensive plays. Talanoa coming out with a great read on Dan Sargentson. That was number one as early as the 6th minute. Then the first of 3 forced dropouts and 3 repeat sets earned by Wigan off the boot of George Williams, who I thought was excellent in that first 40.
Now, we thought the threat might come on the right-hand side for the Wigan Warriors, but they set up and ultimately shift down to the left.
They did, but it was all... They were put into position and they had the momentum thanks to that first carry from Frank Paul Nuisala. I think the props have stood up really well. Footwork from Bateman, which we'll revisit at the end of this analysis, and then culminating in the first try to Lewis Tierney. It was a great ball from Dan Sargentson to give him the opportunity. Lovely step, balance, and a great finish to open the scoring on 9 minutes. Wigan 4-0.
Unconverted by Matty Smith. Not even 8 minutes gone on the clock, and they're up in front. Short time later, Tierney gets his second. Again, same sort of build-up to this, John, as well. Some of the bigger players for the Wigan Warriors stepping up and laying a platform.
Yeah, it was Dom Crosby, and I think they really struggled to deal, of Hull FC, with what Wigan have been throwing at them up front. Have a look, he gets out, drifts out, gets in between 2 players, and then you get a late add-on here from Liam Watts. Now, this is crucial. Doesn't look much at this stage, but given what's going to come next, keep your eye on Liam Watts, the guy I've circled. On late, off late. There's a guy now who's nervous in Carlos Tumivavi. He wants to be able to get off the line because he's seen this movement short side from Liam Farrell. They know they're down on numbers, but because this guy is late here, it means that there is no line speed. Tumivavi cannot go. You put that together with a really nicely run line from Oliver Gildart just here. A late turn in there, that holds Fanua. You've got Farrell who drifts out the back, perfect timing and really well executed finish. Tierney gets the brace inside 15 minutes.
Now, from the 20-minute mark, John, to the half-hour mark, it was a period that Hull had plenty of ball, plenty of field position, and if Wigan go on to win this game, it may be a period of the game that's forgotten, but Wigan majestic in defence.
Yeah, well, they got Hull FC chewing through tackles. Their defence has been dominant, and it's been smart at times. We featured Gelling before. We didn't expect him to be coming up with plays as smart as this in defence. Really patient, reads the play, sees what's going on, and then executes, and then just that for that extra little bit of finesse from dummy half, gets out and shows his enthusiasm, and that really mirrored what Wigan Warriors did. I thought they were utterly dominant in defence, even when being asked questions.
You would think Lee Radford going into the dressing room at half-time, 8-0 down, would feel they could do something in the game that wasn't to be. John Bateman getting over in the final minutes of the game, and maybe luck going the way of the Wigan Warriors, but you'll take anything you get.
Well, Wigan were happy with 9-0 because this was the Matty Smith drop goal attempt, blocked by Danny Houghton. I want to get past that. I want to get to the point where Bateman takes the ball. We talked about his footwork earlier on. Lovely footwork on the inside, and I'm going to stop it just at this point here because he knows that he's got players converging on him from all angles and he's still got 10 metres to go. I'll tell you now, Brian, that is a play that gets your team to a grand final. Absolutely no thoughts of his own health and safety. He gets over, and it's a crucial score at a crucial time from one of the best players in a Wigan shirt all 2016. That's a play that's going to take them to the grand final.
They're halfway there. We have got a second 40 minutes coming. Will the Wigan Warriors, with that depleted squad, go on and get their place in the grand final to take on the Warrington Wolves? Are we witnessing one of the most spectacular collapses in Super League end-of-season history as Hull FC just cannot get a foothold in this game? Lee Radford will need to do everything he can to try and rustle his troops. 40 minutes left. A grand final place on offer for the winner.
Ladbrokes, proud sponsor of Rugby League on Sky Sports.
Right now there's up to 55% off windows, doors and conservatory upgrades at SafeStyle.
50% off stronger doors that help you sleep better. 55% off energy-saving windows that help reduce your heating bills. And 50% off an upgraded conservatory that you'll use more. We'll be any like-for-like quote, and there's 2 years interest-free.
So if you're thinking of changing your doors, windows or upgrading your conservatory, call SafeStyle today and get up to an incredible 55% off.
Thanks, SafeStyle.
He's a myth, he's quite the mystery. But if you're looking for entertainment to party, with a hat and sticky nose to keep it clean, you can bet your dollar count on Mr. Green.
No, 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 no. Hey, look at him. Look at him. I used to be the hero. Birthday cakes, candlelit dinners for two. Now, Nothing.
Have 3 times the fun with Pizza Hut's Triple Treat Box. 2 medium pizzas, double wedges and 8 brownie sticks for only £20. Drives other boxes crazy.
I'd like to see him in a power cut.
Order now from Pizza Hut Delivery.
Roll up, roll up. The BT Fabulous Fortnight is now on. And ladies and gentlemen, we're offering you unlimited fibre optic BT Infinity and unlimited UK weekend calls for an incredible 50% off. That's an unmissable £10 a month. What's more, it's just a 12-month contract. And if you order online by the 10th of October, a £100 BT reward card can be all yours. But hurry, as our Fabulous Fortnight ends 10th of October. Join us today. Call 0800 005 800 or visit bt.com/sale.
Your face goes through a lot. Whatever life throws at you, Nivea Men Cream will help keep your skin looking its best. Fast absorbing, non-greasy. Men, this is your cream. Nivea Men, it starts with you.
Switching personal and business current accounts has never been easier. Over 3 million people have moved banks with the current account switch service.
There are talkers and there are doers. Talkers talk. Doers do things that get talked about. Talkers think about the future. Doers are building it now. Talkers can imagine the feeling. Doers know the feeling. The 100% electric Nissan Leaf, now available with additional offers for a limited time. Search Nissan Electric September for details.
Keep your eye on the ball. Betfair created cash out to let you track your live bets. And when the moment's right, take your profit.
There is no fear like the fear of losing a child.
Walking in that forest, your mind starts to play tricks. I couldn't explain it. Even if I could, what happened next made absolutely no sense.
You need to turn off those cameras. I said turn off the cameras.
The brand new series, American Horror Story Roanoke, continues tonight at 10 on Fox.
The Ryder Cup live now, only on Sky Sports.
Ladbrokes, proud sponsor of Rugby League on Sky Sports.
Great memories, great years. The Super League Grand Final next Saturday. Warrington are there, Wigan or Hull will join them, 5 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. And it's the last hurrah, the last throw of the dice for Hull FC in the season 2016 about to get underway. Wigan are ahead at half-time by 14 points to 0. The Bateman try on the stroke of half-time, a real killer blow. But we'll see how they battle away in this second half. Wigan about to kick off. Matty Smith gets us in motion. Wigan then 40 minutes away from a repeat of the 2013 Grand Final against Warrington, which they won. Will there be a new name on the trophy this year? There will be, definitely, if Hull get there. If Wigan get there, of course, it is then a toss of the coin between themselves and the Warrington Wolves.
I suspect, Eddie, that the coach Lee Radford would have said, look, let's just work our way into this second half, and then it's when they're going to have to start taking the gamble, keeping this ball alive They showed very little in attack in that first stanza.
Kick downfield is straight into the arms of Dan Sargentson. He picks up pace. Goes towards the left-hand side. Washbrook is waiting for him with Twumavavi and Josh Bowden. Question, Steve-O, that we were posing to each other, really. No one else was listening during half-time to us. We weren't on Twitter or anything like that. When will Lee Radford bring Jordan Abdul on?
Well, I would have brought him in about 10 minutes before the half-time, because if there's one man out there that perhaps has a skill factor, it is Abdul. And he can come away with it, but it looks as though we're going to come up with an error.
They have Ryan Sutton puts the ball down.
We certainly need someone to create a bit of a problem there. You see Sutton just his eyes off the football.
Well, they came from 10-0 down to win, didn't they, in the Challenge Cup final. It's 14, a little bit more. But more than the scoreline, I think it's the performance. Obviously, you think that they've got to score points. But half as important, if not more, is that the defence improves in the second half, because if they allow Wigan to score as easily as they did some of those other tries, then they've simply got no chance.
Well, he's got certainly got the quality as Jordan Abdul. He's a man that can create a lot of problems for the defensive line.
Liam, fine with that other hand.
It's going to come to a time, especially maybe after 10 minutes into the second half, that Lee Radford has got to say, well, we've got to throw the dice, and let's hope that they get, double six 3 or 4 times on the run.
Hold, go.
Houghton, the dummy half, finds Twumavavi. And now it's Liam Watts who will take the battle forward for the Black and Whites. And a little push and a shove then from Bretherton might have been penalised. Twumavavi taking on Farrell and George Williams. Will get to his feet and play it here to Houghton. Now it's with Liam Watts again. Watch them flat pass. Oh, that's better. Here is a chance for Josh Bowden. But the Wigan defence muscles up and brings him down. Houghton, they go to the right-hand side with Twumavavi over the top. He finds Washbrook. Washbrook gets it away under pressure to Mahe Fanua.
Well, he threw the dummy, but no one was going to be kidded.
Houghton again. Twumavavi long to Sneed, and well, this has been the pattern of the first half, just a kick to the corner, and it hasn't come up for them, but it has actually come up better than they expected, than anyone would have anticipated.
Yeah, Charlie is taking that ball over the whitewash, and this will be head and feed for the Black and Whites. Well, it was a pretty quick decision he had to make. A bouncing ball, he could have gone all over the place, at least. Didn't give the Black and Whites a chance to score a try, but they certainly have it now. Will they be looking for the speed of James Shaw, the full-back?
Well, major matches can turn on the bounce of a ball, and we've just seen that ball bounce favourably here now for Hull. They've got a chance, but they need some spark here from one of the players with the black shirt on.
Can Twumavavi provide it? Can Washbrook provide it? Solid enough run from him. Houghton waits into the arms of Watts again. Hull this second half attacking the end of the field where all of their supporters are massed behind those posts. Bowden, Houghton on the run around. This is Sneed. Short ball then to Minicello. What seemed like a hawk all night of Wigan.
Good work by Bateman.
This is Thompson. Solid defence again.
Yeah.
Very quick. Very quick to snuff any danger out.
Will Houghton go on his own?
He fires the pass to Twumavavi, who comes back the same way, and he releases it a bit untidily to Liam Watts. Lost a bit of momentum. Now they might pick it up here with Minicello. They will. Decent enough run from Minicello. Untidy pass though to Bowden. Bowden still going. Still going, Bowden. Eventually brought to earth by 3 cherry and white jerseys.
A dink into the in goal, surely.
There it is from Twumavavi, and Williams puts the ball out of play. Goal line dropout forced at last by Hull.
Yeah, well spotted by George Williams, but that is what they needed in that first half. Failed to do that. The kicking game from Mark Sneed has not been top form, but that is exactly what they want. This will be the first time that they've got the double set of 6.
And just trying to keep the pressure on. Half-time news, Bill, please.
Eddie, that is exactly what Lee Radford wanted from his team, his half-time talk. Build more vigorosity, build more pressure at the Wigan end of the field. You don't have to score on every play, but you do have to force them into things like a goal line dropout. Exactly what he wanted. Better kicking game, which was lacking in the first half, so the pressure is on Mark Sneed to come up with that. But that's a good start to the second half from the Black and Whites. They know they've got to convert these chances into something tangible on the scoreboard. They failed to do that in the first 40 minutes. They panicked a little bit, so he wants a bit more calmness when they get into that attacking zone to convert this pressure into points. Wigan coach Sean Wayne pretty happy with his side's first 40 minutes. Bit of nitpicking according to his sideline staff, but overall he was happy, but recognising the fact that 12-0 really isn't too comfortable, and they need to do some more work if they're to see off the challenge from Hull FC.
Talanoa had to retreat back to the 40-metre line to get that ball. Here is Sneed, finds Watts.
That's been the biggest problem, is the two forwards. Nearly all the pack of the Black and Whites have found it difficult to get over that advantage line. That's down to the Wigan good defence. Look how they're just waiting.
This is better from Washbrook. Washbrook stands, gets the ball away. Here goes Bowden again. Bowden gets
He's in. He's scored.
Time off.
Well, he's not given it yet, as Robin Hicks. He'll have a try on the field, I'm sure he has.
Just check the grounding.
He just wants a grounding checking by Ben Thaler, tonight's video referee.
Well, it's all down to getting the ball onto a piece of grass on the ground while in possession, and that looks exactly what he's done there. The hand goes underneath just at that point, but there's no way that the video referee can deny him that one on that shot. Looking to get the ball on the ground, certainly over the line at that point.
Interesting this, Stuart, isn't it, after the events of last night with the Lynham try in the corner. That looked for all money a try, but Robert Hicks being very cautious tonight. The try is given.
Absolutely, and he'll always go through the referee's head on the field. He wants to make sure.
Well, Josh Bowden wanted to make sure as well. He went close earlier in this second half, and he's now actually got over the line. Hull are back in it.
Yeah, and this is the first time that Hull have kept the ball alive. Washbrook back on the inside. Good step. Sargentson did well to stop him. But there comes Bowden. He certainly added a bit of spark when he came off the bench.
Well, it's the intensity of the run. You watch this cut. A drop-off ball, the acceleration, and the most important factor is that pass. A player up in support. Josh Bowden has had a fabulous 2016. Could he have got his side back into this game?
Yes, he's had his best season by far, and Mark Sneed adds the extras. Hull are back within 8 points. Is that the cue for the revival from the men from the KCOM Stadium?
Well, if you look, Josh Bowden actually played the first pass in that. Then he stayed alive. He didn't think my job was done. And one thing that Hull are improving at this season is the support play. Don't forget, this time last year, they finished 8th on the table after 30 rounds. They're now up there competing with the very best and giving those supporters something to smile about.
I know we've talked about Jordan Abdul possibly changing the rhythm of this game. It can't come down to an individual. It has to be a collective effort. And the Black and Whites having a surge forward again.
Yes, the last thing that Wigan want is to be falling off the tackles. This is Jamie Shaw.
But he can
score a Bowden.
You can see straight away, Andrew, that it's lifted the Black and Whites. Sometimes they scored and they're looking down the real gun battle, weren't they, at 14-0 down, but they know they've still got to score twice, so they've got to be a little bit more adventurous.
Sneed finds Minicello. And Sneed was waiting for the return pass. If Minicello could have smuggled that ball to him, Sneed was on his way. Here goes Houghton on a run now. Takes the return then from Liam Watts, finds Twimavavi into open space, invitation for Steve Michaels to run. A little bit of indecision between Tierney and Sargentson, and Hull have got the ball back. This is Steve Michaels. Here they go again with Carlos Twimavavi. They're all offside there, surely Wigan.
He's allowing the play on because it looks like they'll give the penalty now.
It'll be a yellow card, I think, here.
Yeah, you're right. Should be.
He could choose about 2 or 3.
Penalty's been given.
Well, they're looking to get away with it. The Warriors there and not concede a try. It was a real mess.
Mate, it's a penalty.
So penalty is given by Robert Hicks. I think Liam Farrell there was willing to take one for the team, and Sean Wayne knows that this revival from Hull is gathering momentum. Liam Watts brought to ground.
Hold.
5-6 metres away from the line, maybe. Houghton to Thompson, back to Houghton, more involved in this second half already. That's a good ball. This is Kirk Yeaman. Good ball from Sneed to Yeaman. Minicello waits, fires the pass then to Sneed. He then finds Bowden, whose try has breathed a bit of life into this whole challenge now.
Well, when he came off the bench, Eddie, he really has lifted the side.
Good ball, they're in again! 2 tries in 2 minutes, Liam Watts it is! And this fight back has started.
What a fight back indeed! Unbelievable!
They look dead and buried at half-time. They're anything but now. The try from Bowden, the try from Watts. This will be converted, you would imagine, and the gap will be just 2 points.
And this is the lost ball. The real mix-up there. They came up with it, and they've taken full control. Fanua, then they got him the offside. You can see Farrell, he was about 5 yards, he was nearly in the same line as the black and whites. What about coming onto the pass from Danny Houghton? And the prop forward, Liam Watts. What a finish!
I talked about the one factor, Steve, on the opening 5 or 10 minutes. If Hull FC and Wigan were in an arm wrestle, it would come down to the one factor. Well, Liam Watts, he wanted that ball. He wanted to run hard and he wanted to score the try.
And he doesn't get many, Liam Watts, but he gets them on the big occasions. The last try scored against Hull Kingston Rovers in July. He got the freedom of the west bank of the city on that particular occasion, and he's got Hull back into this semi-final in a big way, particularly if Sneed kicks this goal, which you would, even Steve-O would put his mortgage on the fact that Sneed will knock this one over. It'll be 14-12 in a moment, and game well and truly on. Sneed it is. 14-12 Wigan. 10 minutes and a little bit of the second half gone.
Concentration now from the kickoff. How many times do we see it? What a great run. Came on the angle. The perfect pass from the hooker Houghton. And there is the conversion.
All the way, mate. All the way.
They're back into it.
Well, they know they're in a game now, Wigan. How fortunes can turn in the blink of an eye. Here comes Liam Watts. That try from Bowden really did effervesce them.
They certainly needed it, though. They needed something to lift them, and I must say, their first half performance certainly didn't impress me that they could get involved. There was a clash of heads there.
Release now, hold.
Lost a bit of ground. Minicello bounces off a couple.
Oh, what have they done? Is this play on? Yes, it is. He said he wasn't a knock on, and I think it came off his foot.
Okay, let's get down to Bill quickly.
Oh, he's in a dreadful mess. I think Jordan Thompson, it is. Steve-O referred to a clash of heads. He's down by his own posts, getting patched up at the moment, but it's a head clash for definite. There he is behind that towel, and that's going to mean a turnover of players. Meanwhile, knock on from Hull FC, but that is a bad blow.
Well, watch Charlie. This is the impact you could see with Bateman. And they felt that, both of them. But Thompson has come off worse.
He has. He will need that patching up. But going back to the scrum here, Bateman's got some blood on him as well.
Stewart, surely that was a steal, wasn't it?
Well, it looked like Charlie had his hand on the ball, and it came away as he pulled his hand out. So it certainly looked that way.
Well, they certainly led the protests to Robert Hicks, the Hull players, but he would have none of it. He said it's a straight knock-on.
Okay.
And that's why we're going to get head and feet at this scrum. But it certainly did look as though Charlie just knocked the ball out of Kirk Eamon's grasp.
Well, this is great relief for the Warriors.
This is now Anthony Gehry.
They've got to slow things down, Wigan, now. They just keep down there. Try to stop this momentum that the black and whites have regained.
Ryan Sutton with that drive. Here is Powell. Powell then fires the pass to Smith. This is a chance to Gildart. Hull are desperate not to concede. Jordan Abdul is out there now. Sargentson to Williams. Tautai to big Frank Paul. He's wrestled to the ground by Minicello. Sam Powell will have a little scamper. Here's Tautai, hero of the K-Com.
Release the ball!
They've weathered the storm for 5. Can they weather the last here, Hull? With Matty Smith. Oh, he was tackled without the ball then by Minicello. It's a penalty.
Now they will take a tackle or take the 2. This is interesting. What will Sean Wayne get the message out? Through, no doubt about it, was taken out.
I think I'd take 2 in this scenario. Just stop the black and whites gaining that momentum. Here's the tackle from Minicello, who'd manhandled Frank Paul Nuasala a couple of tackles before.
Well, not surprising, they have opted to take the 2 points on offer. Matty Smith, experienced player, and Sean Wayne was very quick to get the message down there. He knows that to just slow the momentum, because it was all going Hull FC's way. He knows he's back in the game though. Lee Radford, 2 quick tries. Bowden, then Watts, the 2 forwards have brought this game alive.
They have, and this penalty, which Smith will be hoping to convert, it's more than just 2 points, isn't it? It gives Wigan a little bit of a breather, gives them time to collect their thoughts again, time to get back on the horse, and just takes a little bit of the momentum out of the Hull comeback. Yes, Smith adds the 2 from the penalty, so it's 16-12, but pretty tight. You would expect that in the semi-final. Didn't look like it would be in the first half.
Both these teams are going to have to go harder, faster and stronger than they have for any other game this season now. We've got a 4-point split on these sides. This is what we had when they met in the semi-final of the Challenge Cup about 8 weeks ago. Now we're in a similar scenario here. Who's got the skill and who has the nerve now to win this game?
Well, Wigan cannot just pull the queue on the rack. They know that.
And it's the same scoreline, Steve-O, as the Challenge Cup semi-final, but the other way around. Wigan was ahead.
But it's just good hard work. Remember, they showed so much resilience in that first half, Wigan. They controlled it. They've got to get back into that situation now. And they come up with the error.
Here's Frank Paul Nuasala.
Still 0.
Well, the referee will bring this back because Hull have lost 20, 30 metres there, and he'll bring it back for the scrum after the knock-off.
That's a big error.
Good tackle though, Steve-O, wasn't it? Targeted the ball, hit him right around the midsection, and your man, Jordan Abdul, he's doing his best to lift his side.
Keep coming out on those
There's a couple of good carries. Oliver Gildart's had a big night tonight. I think the lads, Brian and John Wells, talked about the battle that he would have with Mahe Fanua.
I'm over, Danny.
I think honours even so far.
Well, we thought that that they needed to bring Jordan Abdul on. That he had no option really with the way that Thompson went off with that bad injury to the head.
Move, George. Hold now.
But he certainly played his part. It's a big hit, as you say, from Abdul.
2. Move, John. Hold with me. Hold.
So Hull back in possession. Houghton. Here's Sneed. And inside then to Liam Watts. He got away from the first would-be challenge, but he can't get away from the weight of strength of all of that.
Well, Hull have a problem with their other big front rower. Scott Taylor looks like he's in a lot of pain. At least they brought back home, but Liam Watts looking to the sideline for a possible rest. I think he'll have to stay out there.
Houghton. Twimavavi.
I'll tell you what's changing as well for the black and whites is the fact that Danny Houghton is running a little bit more from dummy half. Not only that, he's had 3 runarounds. Oh, this is a gift! Surely that would be a penalty. He's taken him high, but it looked as though that Mahe Fanua was going to go in for a vital try again. Matty Smith just trying to help along.
It looked very dangerous, didn't it? But Danny Washbrook possibly arrived too early, collided with a man in mid-air.
To be fair to Washbrook, he's watching the ball all the time.
He's just too early. He hasn't met the ball, he hasn't jumped.
The thing is, he can't get out of the way. He's looking at the ball and he just can't get out of the way. And you can see there that Sargentson has gone right into him. And it has to be a penalty because he's gone right underneath him and flipped him.
Well, he looks like he's okay. He's up and walking about.
He is in the air.
That's our opinion. Here's the expert.
Well, yeah, it's difficult to put any blame on Danny Washbrook. He just doesn't get off the ground, whereas Sargentson does. But he ends up in a dangerous position, and that's why we end up with the penalty.
So Wigan will gladly accept that. Let's go down to Bill again.
Eddie, first of all, poor old Dan Sargentson, he'll be glad to see the back of Hull FC this season. In the semi-final, he broke his nose against Hull FC in a tackle with Danny Houghton. He's got his nose splattered tonight. It's not broken, but they made a pretty good mess of it. And now he's ended up very painfully. Thankfully, he's come out of it okay. I think he'll be glad when this one's over, especially if Wigan can hold on to this league. A bit of a problem for Hull. Liam Watts is struggling with some sort of arm injury. Left arm seems to be the problem. And Scott Taylor had a problem a few moments ago.
They have a problem all round now because this is going.
Great tackle there. Wonderful work from Kirk Human, experienced centre.
Smith gets the ball into centre field to Ryan Sutton. He's brought down by Watts and Taylor, who are both struggling, as Bill has just reported. Now it's with Smith. Dabs the ball towards the in-goal area. Picked up, though, by Jamie Shaw, who goes to ground quickly and plays the ball quickly.
Great work, Eddie. Not only did he put himself in a good position, anticipated the kick, but he got the ball away, played the ball quickly, and you can see he nearly caught the Wigan outfit. Wigan got to be careful not to get in front of the official. They don't want to concede a penalty at this point.
You say Wigan have dealt so far effectively with Mahe Fanua. Abdul to Sneed, spreading it wide. Here they come again, Minicello. Great run from him again. He was almost hopping on one leg then. This now is Yeeman.
Gotta get it up.
Last tackle, it goes high and cross field. Tierney does well. This time Washbrook times the run a little better.
What a difference a fast ruck makes for Hull FC. They've made all those metres, and even though essentially it's the same kick from Mark Sneed, it's a better chase and almost a better result.
Charnley now for Wigan.
Well, this time it's Wigan's turn to find it difficult to get themselves out of the danger zone, but that's good running from the dummy half. Is that a big game, this fella?
Yes, Lewis Tierney. Good work. To his feet, plays the ball 10 metres from where he started. Isa. Good value from Isa this year.
But look at the position that they've left Wigan in. They've got a kick deep, and this should get them at least one play the ball into the opposition half. You can see some of the Wigan defenders there just hanging back. Wasn't the best chase.
Chris Green.
Liam, move! All the way on
nowhere for him to go other than to his feet now. Plays the ball to Houghton. Scott Taylor doing it tough. Gets over halfway. Houghton. Abdul. Back it comes to Twimavavi. Good pass to Mahe Fanua. He gets away from Gildart. What a pass round the corner that was. Steve Michaels did well also to pick that up on the half volley.
Another drive, then put the kick in.
Twimavavi. Abdul. Back it comes to Sneed. They're lined up down this left side, but Pritchard goes up the middle. Then releases the pass to Abdul. Abdul takes tackle number 5. Last one coming up then for Hull.
Give it some air.
That's exactly what he does. It's high from Sneed. They're all after this. Fanua is there. The ball is patted back. Washbrook has picked it up. Washbrook keeps it going. Here is Chris Green. That's touched by Wigan. 6 to go, is it? Yes, it is. 6 to go. Have Hull heard the call? Twimavavi. Twimavavi to Mahe Fanua. This is...
They want to do it. They don't realise it's back to 6. They're screaming at their own players. Play on.
It's 6 to go. Somebody tell Hull it's 6 to go.
It's a free play.
Is it?
0.
Right, yes, so now he's wiped the tackle count down. That's the 0 tackle, so 6 from here. Didn't hear the call. Don't think Hull did either. Pritchard.
Do another run around with Danny out, and it's been it caused all sorts of problems for the Wigan defence.
Sneed gives it to Abdul. Here is Scott Taylor. Medals for bravery tonight for Taylor and Liam Watts. And blood spilt by Sargentson and Thompson. That sort of game, it's a semi-final. Shaw. Untidy, but it finds Kirk Yeaman. Kirk Yeaman taking on Gelling. Worked well in defence tonight, Gelling.
They know they've got to keep it alive, Hull FC.
Talanoa finds Abdul. He then gives it to Sneed. Sneed finds Tuimavave coming more and more into it. Jamie Shaw, a dab to the corner from Jamie Shaw.
Oh, he's got it down.
Steve Michaels has touched this down.
Oh no, the referee says play on.
And away goes Oliver Gildart down the left-hand side.
Surely he got a hand to it in the in-goal area.
But Oliver Gildart will touch down. Will the referee give this, or will he go back? Will he go back up the other end and ask the video referee to have a look? I think he will.
He's got to.
Eddie, I think this is a try. The golden rule is keep going until the referee blows his whistle. I think Steve Michaels, he doesn't get a clean grounding of the ball, and then he's play off.
Well, all the drama is going to happen at the other end of the field.
No try at that end.
100 metres
away,
but the referee, Robert Hicks, has given a try on the field.
Yes.
A try on the field to Wigan. Not a try to Hull, which everyone behind the stick, Stuart, was appealing for. Let's see.
Well, he's double the decision for Ben Thaler, because he's said it's a no try.
It's double jeopardy there.
Yeah, it's a no try to Hull and a try to Wigan. So I don't think that was in the original policy, but everyone's on side chasing this ball. Tina goes down, knocks the ball backwards, so we still play on from this point. Does anybody ground the ball?
Yes.
Yes, I think he's got that down.
Fingertip.
I think there's enough there to award that.
Fingertip control. There it is.
That's a try.
That's conclusive evidence. Surely Ben Thaler will realise that that's all you need.
That's all you need. His on-field decision was no try. So does Ben Thaler have sufficient evidence there to give that? I think that's a try.
So do I. And I tell you what, I bet he realised he didn't want to cut his nails this morning.
So this decision is the no try at this end.
This was a no try given on the field.
Yeah, it's his left hand. The first hand missed.
This is a moment.
This is the one here. Does he keep his hand on the ball all the way?
Yes, that's a try.
Well, that's four balls up here for a try. Are you with that, Barry?
My initial thoughts was it wasn't a try, but then again I thought Dominic Peru had scored the try last night, so...
Well, we have the drama again of last night, don't we? We have it in the hands of the video referee. Last night, Ben Thaler was the man on the pitch. Tonight, Ben Thaler's the man in the booth. Is this a try for Hull? If it is, it levels the score. If it isn't, Wigan get another 4 points up the other end.
I'd like to watch it in normal speed, but I'm still not convinced.
Watch the finger on the ball.
It's slow motion, Steve-O.
It doesn't matter if it's on the ball. Look at that. Conclusive incident. That is a try. What more do you want?
I want to see it in normal speed without a freeze frame.
Let's go back to the video referee protocols. It's given us no try on the field by the referee. The video referee has to have sufficient evidence to overturn his decision. There is a finger on the ball there. Is that sufficient evidence for the video referee? It's down to him. There's no way we can define what sufficient evidence is in everybody's mind.
Well,
it's down to Ben Thaler.
If it's given, Stuart, it is the merest of touches.
It doesn't matter.
And I remember a match in Australia that England believed they were robbed in not too long ago, and a similar situation to this. Ryan Hall in Melbourne, if you might remember.
That's the finger. All it needs is a pinky.
Well, look, if you're looking at it this many times,
he's got a huge doubt.
There is a doubt there. So, in his mind, is there evidence to give that try? And it all comes down to his opinion in the end.
Well, let me tell everybody, obviously some people think we have an influence on this. He is completely and utterly soundproofed. He is not hearing anything that we are saying up here on the gantry about this decision.
Absolutely. It's all down to him. He probably wishes he did have a bit of advice at the minute, but it's all down to Ben Thaler.
It's a try here.
Well, I'm going to go for broke and go for the TRY.
Well, he's, as Stuart has said, he is looking at it. He is looking at it so many times. He is plainly not convinced. He's agonising over this decision because Ben Thaler, like we all know, just how important this is. I said last night was the biggest decision of the 2016 season when it was no try. This is equally as big.
Well, I'll have a shilling. It's very rare I have a bet, but I'll have a shilling on this TRY. But I've been proved wrong many, many times.
If you just explain the rules, you don't need control of the ball. What do you actually need to score a try in this game?
You have to ground the ball, and to ground the ball, you've got to have some part of your hand touching it when it's on the ground.
Downward pressure, and that's one finger. You don't need 5. You don't need 4 and a thumb. You don't need an arm. You need one finger, and I think that is conclusive.
How many times have we looked at this? You've got to say he's got some doubts. So
we've looked at it about 15, 16 times.
Well, at the end of the day, he has to make a decision.
He has to make a decision.
He's got to make a call. He has to make a call now.
This is the grand final change of this.
I know.
Yeah, this is the ticket to the grand final.
Well, there's 19 minutes to go. That's a long time. But if it's the try at the other end, I think Hull finish.
Yes, the try at the other end is a given. This is the big decision that Ben Thaler's had to make. What a 24 hours Ben Thaler has had in this great game. He's going to rule now on that. It's given.
Time stays off. Time off.
It's given.
I think
Steve Michaels might have just earned himself the contract.
Well, I thought he'd already been awarded one.
No, he's talking. I think he's talking louder now.
Is he ever?
This time yesterday.
Time back on.
Hull have fought their way back into it. The scores are level. Scores are level. And Mark Sneed has a kick to give Hull the lead tonight for the first time. Now at Wembley, I remember watching from the sideline as Kirk Gidley was warming up and trying to keep his legs moving for the conversion attempt that he missed. I've been watching Mark Sneed on the other side of the field, and he has been doing exactly the same, trying to keep the muscles supple, keep them going, ready for this kick.
Well, the build-up was quite superb, and the kick was outstanding. Took it right, pushed it through, missed it on his occasion, but it was Michaels that got the fingertip. Had to say, there are times when you want to cut your fingernails, and there are times when you want to let them grow. And Michaels has had the fingertip that has grown to 4 points.
Actually, Barry you wanted to see it at normal time, Barry. I think it's even more conclusive normal time. Look.
Well, what character shown by this black and white side. 14-0 down at half-time. To bring the scores back at this point level, potentially taking the lead. Take a bow, Hull FC.
Well, it's from his best side, Eddie.
It is. It is. Now then, Mark Sneed has kicked some belters this year. Is this another? Oh. Yes, it is! Mark Sneed has kicked Hull into the lead. And, well, it's the tale of 2 goal kickers. Matty Smith, the first one. 2 difficult kicks, by the way, from Matty Smith. Another tough conversion for him. Missing on both occasions. This one, what a kick from Mark Sneed.
Unbelievable, Eddie. And you talk about a game of 2 halves. Remember, Hull didn't play all that well at Wembley in the first half, and then they came out and came up trumps. It's exactly the same what we've seen here. But Phil Clark is absolutely spot on. There's still plenty of time, and there's still plenty of drama.
There is indeed. And I tell you what, I wouldn't be Ben Thaler this weekend for a big clock. I really wouldn't. But he had to make a decision. He had to make his decisions last night, which he did. He's made a decision tonight, which he has.
Was that a knock-on? There was a bit of a fumble there. The Wigan fans, they went berserk.
Well, they were coasting. Wigan were coasting at half-time.
It looked all over.
Dragged themselves back into this semi-final.
Oh, Danny Houghton, did that just roll away? Either way, they're tackling for their lives now. Trimmer Varvey working hard. It's going to be difficult now. Wigan have to just turn the clock back and think about what they did in the first half. They controlled it with the kicking game, especially from George Williams. They've got to get back into that mood.
Move, Jordan! Me, Frank. Hold, go.
We've seen some huge decisions in the semi-finals the last 2 nights. Here's Liam Farrell for Wigan.
Last. Move, Danny! All the way, all the way!
This has got to be a good kick.
Go.
We're trying to milk the penalty.
George Williams it is. Into centre field to Matty Smith. There's the kick wide, looking for Anthony Gelling, looking for Dan Sargentson. Ball is flicked back, John Bateman!
Can't get it down!
It's still alive! It is still alive, it's still alive! Still the last. Gelling goes down the short side. Anthony Gelling flings the pass inside. Oh,
great tackle. It's still going. That's a turnover.
That was Jordan Thompson.
What an effort from Thompson. On the sidelines, getting stitched up, I'm sure.
Okay, mate.
Wow.
Time off.
Look at the kick through there from Shaw. Yeah. Look what it means to Lee Radford. He thought at half-time they were buried at Wembley. He thought at half-time here at Wigan they were buried. They've done it again, but can they hang on?
Let's go even further back than that to Good Friday, when Hull's season turned around, when they fought themselves back into a match against Hull KR from 20-0 down with 20 minutes to go, and they won the match. Here tonight, they have come back up off the canvas, and is it Hull or is it Wigan off next week to see Warrington at Old Trafford? Hull have been involved in the League Leaders Shield race. Hull have won the Challenge Cup. Will they be involved in the last big one next Saturday against the same club that they beat at Wembley? What a finish!
Well, we've had some disappointing games at times this season, but these 2 semi-finals have taken the sport to another level. Great kick into the corner here now, and we're going to have to go 99 metres or more.
And Sargentson trying to go the first of those.
Hold, go.
Matty Smith, Gelling. Remember, we have never, ever before in the playoffs in Super League history since 96, 98 when the playoffs came in, we've never had a golden point extra time battle. It might be on here.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jenny.
And it's the 125th game, by the way, since 1998 at this level. Are we going to see a golden point finish?
Well, who knows it, but the black and whites know they've got to defend very, very strongly. Not give away a silly penalty.
Sargenson's kick.
Not the best. Shaw, good position. On the 4th tackle as well.
Here's Jamie Shaw. He runs straight into Kurt Yeaman and backs off him.
Surrender!
It was the power game in those opening, in the opening quarter for Wigan. It was the power game, the runs from Nuasala, Crosby, gained the territory, gained the advantage of momentum. They played off the back of that, but kicks on the 4th, dribbles, as Dan Sargentson did then, won't please Sean Wayne.
Stuart, you know, when you think back to all that drama of the try, no try for Wigan at one end and Hull at the other, had Gildart taken a tackle 5 metres away and then they'd scored, they couldn't have gone back and looked at that, could they?
No, they couldn't. If it stopped, it would have been just play on from that point.
That's right.
Last release! Go!
This has got to get into the whitewash, and Danny Houghton knows exactly what is needed. The experience on the shoulders there. Acting captain tonight. Ellis is off the field of play. He's injured. Couldn't play tonight, but he knows that they perhaps have done it yet again.
Just going back to that tackle, the referee still has the option of going back to the video referee had the tackle been taken. But, you know, it was so far down the field, he may well have just played on from it.
He could have done, he might have done, but he did give a try in the corner on the field to Wigan in that far side. So I think it has said play on. I really do. I think if the tackle had been made, I think that it would have been hard luck Hull. I really do.
Hang on, you two aren't bending the knees now. Come on. Dan, get your head in and arms up.
Oh, you can see, you can feel how nervous it is. They can't even get the scrum right. Get your heads in.
Out. Back off.
Here we go with Charlie.
Move. Hold.
Wigan will be trying all they know to try to maybe calm the referee, Robert Hicks, to get the penalty. They know they need good field position. They have not got it at the moment.
Help! Release Frank!
This now is Sam Powell. Here is Bateman.
Move, Frank! All the way,
They've got a lot of players here in an attacking zone. Look at them, 2 waves of lines going at them.
This now is Williams. He gets the ball away to Liam Farrell.
Move, Danny!
Last tackle here for Wigan.
Good tackle by Twim of Harvey. It had to be as well.
Don Crosby. Oh, it's another bad kick. Oh, and a bit of a fumble from Jamie Shaw, and they get onto him, Wigan. They force the goal line dropout.
Boy, you talk about nerves. He's nervous, Sean Wayne. So's this fella, Sargentson. Golden opportunity, you can see his nose is splattered all over the face. Shaw fumbles. Sargentson gets there, you're in the in goal. We're going to get possession. More pressure on the black and whites.
Yes, more pressure. Goal line dropout, no hurry to take it. 11 minutes remaining in the match. Hull with a 2-point advantage.
Come on,
well, these players have made 11 months of effort, sacrifice, commitment to a cause here. They've got 11 minutes now left here, which will determine whether the season comes to nothing or whether they get one more chance next Saturday in Manchester.
Not a bad kick off the left foot of that man, Mark Sneed. Defence, so important.
Willie Isa takes the first tackle. 30 metres out, Wigan. Coming forward here with Tautai, who won the match with his first ever try of the season at the KCOM Stadium just a couple of weeks ago. Here is Matty Smith. Now it's John Bateman. And Bateman was almost through.
Release, Jamie!
Powell. Tautai again. Back to Powell. Here is Matty Smith. Smith bullets the pass to Williams. Williams with a little drop of the shoulder. Oh, just short of the line. Farrell. Back it comes to Smith. Here is Powell again. Showed it to Bateman. Gave it to Gelling. Gelling out the back door to Charnley. He pumps it into the arms of Powell. Bateman, there's a space ahead of Bateman. It's quickly closed. Down he goes on the last.
Kick to the corner, surely.
Smith turns it back. Isa flicks it back. The ball alive incredibly from the goal line dropout. It pinged from hand to hand, body to body, and in the end, Sam Powell was the man on the spot, in the right place, the right time. And Sam Powell, with 9 minutes remaining, just might have booked a place at Old Trafford.
And fully deserved. Wigan knew they had to keep this ball alive, and boy, did they do that well. They tried everything, and Powell put himself into a pretty good position. You take that gamble. He utilised the post to shield himself. One of the most underrated players in Super League in my mind, Sam Powell. He gives 100%, but not only that, he's given 4 points that could take them to the grand final.
Well, he's done a phenomenal job, Sam Powell, when he's been asked. Picking up the slack, trying to fill the gap vacated by Michael McAlorum, the emotional leader of this Wigan team. And Sam Powell gets his head down, drives hard for the line, and gets the Warriors back into this game.
And he scored a try in the win at Hull last time out at the KCOM Stadium in the Super 8s, did Sam Powell. So Wigan nudge ahead again, 20 points to 18. This kick from Matty Smith to re-establish a 4-point advantage. Their fans on the terraces are dancing and singing. They think they're going to Old Trafford. They might be premature. It's not over yet, but Smith has given them that 4-point cushion.
Well, I think Sam Powell, at the end of the game, when he reflects back on this, will give a massive amount of thanks to Willie Isa. How he gets the ball away here so quickly. It's a catch and offload. It's a blind one, but he knows at that point in the match and on that part of the field, he's got to take the risk, and Sam Powell's delighted that he did.
They're all delighted. They were celebrating that.
And in all the excitement, we've forgot about the contribution from Don Crosby. the front rower. He put the delicate little kick in, forcing the goal line dropout. And it's probably the team with the steadiest, clearest unity, more solid foundations that will go on to win this game.
Well, that surprised me in the fact that Hull opted to do a deep kick. I would have gone for the short one, tried to get possession from the kickoff. They failed to do that, and now you can see Wigan. They look as though they're going to make it into the black and white half. And that will mean that Matty Smith will take control with a kick. They'll go for the sideline, deep into the corner. This is the last.
Yes, it is. They're only just over halfway, though, by about 9 metres. Here is Smith, hurried. He gets the kick away, but he finds touch, and that will eat up at least a minute.
Bit disappointed. It was a bit of a short one, but it was put under a lot of pressure.
7 minutes away from walking through the gates at Old Trafford to face Warrington in the grand final.
Well, we've never seen it before in a semi-final, Eddie, in regards to put the ball in the scrum and from the scrum-based kick. Remember, in modern Super League, they do not have a full-back.
It's a special programme next Friday for Steve-O's grand finale on the eve of the grand final. 6:40, Sky Sports 3 will tell the story of his 26 years behind the mic. And it's Warrington against Wigan at the moment. Or have Hull got another twist in the tail in the grand final next week?
Well, I've got to take a leaf out of the book of what Wigan have just done. They kept it alive. They risked it. They risked everything. And Sam Powell has come up front.
Hold, go.
Houghton. Twimavavi. Short ball, Liam Watts. Going through the pain. Both of these sides. 11 months hard work coming down to this. Minicello with a strong run.
This has got to be a high kick. Everybody's got to be alert.
They are on the far side, and Sneed has gone that way. It's worked so many times this year for Mahi Fanua. Was Michaels taken out
the
then?
Penalty, you're right,
Was Michaels taken out then?
It looks like it's a penalty. The touch judge is on. It looks like Hull's going to get the penalty here.
Oliver Gildar.
But why on earth did they take him out with the shoulder?
Oliver
There's
Gildar.
a condition to escort players.
Time off. Hang on.
You see Oliver Gildar illegally blocks Steve Michaels.
Why would you do that?
To give the catcher the best chance of getting it.
But
obviously he's given the penalty away and he's got it wrong.
He has, and he's given them a chance. And this is Fanua.
Short one.
He must have been inches short.
And this now is Houghton, who is picked up and halted.
Release,
That's two
two.
Go. Fanua this time dummy half. Back it comes to Sneed. Sneed then to Jordan Thompson. Short ball to Minicello. Wigan defending for their lives.
Move, Willie.
Hull trying to prize them open for Old Trafford. This is Mark Sneed. Back it comes to Twimavavi again. Great work by Williams.
Goal line, Sam.
Mahe Fanua pointing the direction. It comes to Sneed. And Sneed will dribble the kick into the in-goal area. Bateman is there. They're going to get a repeat set, though.
That's Danny Houghton's 50th tackle of the game. When I talked about the gap and the space vacated by Gareth Ellis, that man has gone somewhere to filling it. He has run his blood to water. Can't do it on his own. He's got teammates around him, but he's leading the way, Danny Houghton.
It's a good job that John Bateman was there to save the try. The machine, Danny Houghton, has just completely
Bateman's been struggling with this head injury ever since the clash of heads with Jordan Thompson.
But he was Johnny on the spot, and he had to be as well. It's tense. It's tense up here.
Okay, mate, we're going to go now.
Certainly is. It's very tense. It is 5 minutes to a grand final or the end of your season. Smith's goal line dropout trundles its way to Twimavavi. Here they come, and Scott Taylor, how on earth he is keeping going, the Lord alone knows.
Hold on, hold. Go.
Houghton, Thompson, Sneed again. Minicello always seems danger when Minicello gets the ball in his hands.
Certainly does. He loves running down this right-hand flank, doesn't he? Left-hand flank, should I say.
Houghton, Sneed. Is there a final twist in this tale? Twimavavi. Short ball, Washbrook. Great tackle again, Williams.
Go.
Mahe Fanua brushes away from one. Isa gets to him.
Go.
Houghton scampers in a dummy half.
They're doing the run around
return.
again.
Takes the return, finds Sneed. Over the top looking brilliant from Charnley. He was looking for Talanoa and Charnley coped with that brilliantly. On balance, look at that.
That could have saved the bacon. What a take going backwards. And what a game this guy's had.
Backwards!
Ball went backwards.
Play on, yeah. Good referee in there by Robert Higgs.
Here's Williams.
Safety first.
Move, Steve!
They've got the 4-point lead. It's safety first.
You would think so.
Nothing fancy. Matty Smith will be screaming, saying, another drive, another drive.
It was a solid run that from Liam Farrell. And here goes Dan Sargentson.
Move, Danny!
But there's been some players at big games tonight.
Bateman, he's carried on bravely as well.
Last, move, Scott!
Last tackle coming up. Here is Matty Smith. And Smith running and then dinking it into the corner, chasing it himself. Shaw picks it up. Goes behind his own line and will be dumped in goal by Charnley.
And you can put that down to Matty Smith. When you need a hold edge, tip over the top, beautiful stuff. With the first man there, and then it was helped. Charnley did well. Shaw tried everything to get in the field of play. And psychologically, that is a magnificent lift for the home side. They've gone for the short one.
Short goal line dropout, knocked back by Wigan. Into the arms of Tierney. Tierney sees Old Trafford ahead of him. And Mark Sneed puts the shutters up.
It looked like hat-trick time.
Gildart hopping and skipping towards this line. They're in no hurry. Time is of the essence for them. Time is the enemy for Hull FC. Back it comes to Don Crosby.
3. Move, Scott!
Slowly, slowly.
And Powell at dummy half. Gives the pass to Smith again. He gets it away to Sargentson. Gelling! Gelling! Gets Wigan to Old Trafford. Anthony Gelling, his try takes Wigan to the big night.
And what a night he's had. Shaw could not get back into the field of play. The intelligent little chip over the top from Matty Smith. And what a night for Anthony Gelling. You do not know what you can get from this guy. Sometimes he comes up with mistake. Other times he comes up with wonderful play. And he knows Anthony Gelling has taken the Warriors to the grand final.
Yes,
the despair on Danny Houghton. What an effort. What a game.
Yes,
what tension.
What an effort, what tension, what drama we have had again tonight. And Wigan are going there. It's been heroic from Hull in the second half.
Well, they've got close, haven't they? They've made the final finish here. 2 great passes. And then Sargentson just gives it to the big fella and says, look, we're too close here now to not convince it. Make sure you put yourself hard and strong. We know you're our biggest athlete. Go on, get there in the corner. He does that. Finishes off what's been a brilliant game of rugby league from both teams. The sport at its very best. 79 minutes, 11 seconds gone. It's all over now, but it's been a brilliant, brilliant contest.
The dejection on Danny Houghton's face says it all. So near, yet so far. But they will look back on this year and they will remember that historic win at Wembley. They haven't been able to continue it on after that famous day, but we are going to have a repeat of the 2030 Grand Final at Old Trafford next Saturday. Can Matty Smith just add a little bit of gloss? answer is yes, he can. Yes, he can. Neil O'Neill and Wigan. Well, the coach driver knows the way. They're there for the 4th year in a row.
Look at the size of this centre, Anthony Gelling. As I say, sometimes you think to yourself, is he on the field of play? He sometimes goes to sleep, but boy, when he hits that button, when he gets that excitement, he gets the explosion, and you can see the wonderful expressions on the players. They know that this man has definitely sent them to Old Trafford. What a game that will be, Eddie.
Indeed so. Warrington-Wigan next Saturday. The Edge will be there from 5. Final siren sounds. The end of 2 dramatic semi-finals. It was Wigan's to lose at half-time. They nearly did. But then they showed courage and commitment. First from Powell, then from Anthony Gelling. And it is Wigan who go to the big night. And Hull, well, small consolation for them in the fact that they played and took part in an epic second half. But Wigan just had too much for them in the end. And it was the late tries in the last 10 minutes from Powell and Gelling that took the game away from Hull after Steve Michaels, his try, and the Sneed magnificent conversion off the touchline gave Hull a 2-point advantage. For Wigan, the delight. For Mark Minicello and Hull, the despair. Dan Sargentson won't even be thinking about his busted nose right now, and you might have caught a glimpse up here on the gantry of Ben Flower and Sean O'Loughlin celebrating. And no wonder that Ben Flower celebrating, because his suspension will be over. He will be at Old Trafford next week if Sean Wayne picks him.
And it's been a great win, Eddie, in regards to the fact that their coach Sean Wayne has had to dig deep, bring the youngsters through. They have been decimated with so many injuries, but it just shows you that if you have the depth in this wonderful Super League, it will take you to the top, and you cannot get any better than to be able to walk out on that wonderful occasion at Old Trafford. The reason why we call it Super League is because it's super.
Absolutely super, a super semi-final. And there's the man of the match, the first utility man of the match with the champagne. Bill, hand it over.
Thanks, Eddie. Anthony Gelling, man of the match. There you go, take that. Maybe some more to come next weekend after Old Trafford. What a prospect that is.
Yeah, look, I don't think I deserve this at all, you know. Some of the efforts from everyone, you know. Individually, at some time in the game, everyone stepped up and done their part. I thought Dan Sargentson killed it, Ollie Gildart, Lewis Tini. The edge was solid all game, and I'm just so happy to be going back to Trafford.
But at one point, maybe it was in the balance, because they came back at you, didn't they? And that must have had you a bit worried.
Yeah, you know, there's that decision given by the video ref, which pissed me off, by the way. Not just
hey, can we...
I'm speaking for everyone here. I consider myself a man of the people, you know. I'm not talking about the decision, I'm talking about the time it took. 10 minutes we're standing there waiting for a result. Either give the try or don't give it, but don't stop the game, because, you know, it's robbing everyone there.
Anthony, thanks for that. Congratulations on the man of the match performance.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thanks to Hull too. Great season by them, and yeah, I'll see you next week. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. See you next weekend. And just a word of apology for Anthony Gelling, and sorry to viewers, but a lot of excitement as Wigan get to Old Trafford. Sam Powell, good evening. Crucial try.
Yeah, it's a bit of a swing in momentum.
It was, because it was just, and it was so out of character with the game, wasn't it? You kept it alive and you kept it alive. It was almost manic.
Yeah, we went in at half-time and we felt really in control of the game. Hull came out and we did speak about that. You know, they're a class team, so there was going to be a point in that game where they were on top. It was just about getting that momentum swing as soon as we could, really.
It summed up some of the spirit in this Wigan side, isn't it? When you think of who's out of the team, what you've had to make up in that respect, and there's great character, if nothing else.
Yeah, we've faced some adversity this year, you know, with injuries, but we're not going to use it as an excuse. The boys we put out, you know, we're all determined, and it's just one more week now. We've got to go again, and you know the prize at the end of it is absolutely massive.
What about Warrington? What about that prospect?
You know, same again. It could have been any 4 teams, I think, this year. So we'll go rest up, look at Warrington, and you know it's going to be a great game.
Sam, thanks for talking to us.
Cheers, mate.
Sean Wayne. Oh, Lee Radford first. Lee, they turned it around and surely gave you something to be proud of in that second half.
Yeah, definitely. And just too much, you know, just too much of a hill to climb, I suppose, from the first half. You know, the difference in kicking game and the way they finished their sets to the way we finished ours in the first period, you know, ultimately got us that far behind. But no, really good effort I felt in the second half, and you know, I don't mind going down like that. At least we're playing a bit of football and had a bit of intent in what we did.
It was a massive effort, and you said before the game that you were hoping your side could recapture some of the sort of form that got you through to the Challenge Cup final, got you to win the Challenge Cup final. Do you think we maybe saw that tonight at least?
I think we did. That last 40 minutes, definitely. You know, we haven't been that crash out in the 8s, and you know, we saw a little bit. We've defended well in the 8s, but with the ball, we haven't been where we needed to be. But that last 40 minutes, I thought we, you know, we struck a few chords.
Thanks, Lee.
Cheers, pal.
And thanks for a great season.
No worries, thank you very much. Cheers.
And Sean Wayne's season has got another week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Please, he's a good fella, him. They're a good club, well run, good players. They've had a good year, so that makes our victory good. You know, we've been under the pump this year, but we stay in games, and you know, I'm very proud of my players.
Because they're a physical challenge, and your guys stood up to it. Is that something that gives you maybe extra satisfaction?
Yeah, it does. I mean, they're a lot bigger than us. Well, they're a huge team, Hull, and very well coached. And I have every respect for Hull as a club. And but for our players to stand up, you know, we're a lot lighter than them, and in a bad situation with injuries, to stand up like that and get that win was tremendous for us.
And what about next Saturday then, Warrington and Old Trafford again for the Wigan Warriors, second home at the moment, but how do you feel about that game now? It's a lot to get your head round as the dust settles here.
Well, Warrington, Tony's done a fantastic job, you know, this year, and they're worthy team to be there. But we've been there, she's our 4th year on the trot, we've only got one. So I don't like driving out to do nothing, and neither do my players, so we'll have a good week, and we're trying to challenge Warrington. They're a good team. It's a massive challenge for us, but we'll be up for it.
Thanks, Sean.
Cheers, Bill. Thank you.
Yes, 4 in a row for Sean Wayne and Wigan. They know the route. They know the feeling to win. As Sean says, he doesn't like driving out of Old Trafford with nothing on